Audience, please, somebody let me know, can you hear me? All right. Apologies about the delay, everybody. Just having some technical issues. Well, let me give that amazing intro once again. Welcome to Dublin 4, Belfast Trojans, coming into today's game at 5-0, undefeated and untied at the top of the table. This is their third game of the month, having defeated Belfast Knights 44-13 to start the month of May, followed by a 40-8 beatdown over back-to-back finalist Dublin Rebels. Today, they come up against undefeated and untied UCD, 4-0 leading into today's game, but they have been off for over a month now, dating back to exams. For the students, it's going to be an uphill climb. The Trojans are a heavy favorite coming to today's game with their big victories over many teams this season. However, over a few common opponents, UCD has played better, including a better victory over the Cork Admirals, whereas the Trojans won 13-8. UCD won by 40. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us today. My name is Max Wolpoff, and I am honored to be part of this broadcast with all of you. I want to make sure, are you able to hear the field now without losing me? Because if you are able to hear the field, that'd be great to be able to share. So apparently, if I have the field sound on, my microphone doesn't work. Okay, so that was a nice idea while it lasted. Anyway, drop a comment in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Always curious to see the global reach of UCD American football. We're grateful that all of you have decided to make us part of your Saturday as our artificial intelligence camera goes haywire and misses the opening coin toss, instead deciding that somebody walking their dog along the northwest end zone is more interesting. So UCD has won the toss, and they will receive the ball to open today's contest. This was a point of emphasis from head coach Dara Farrell, breaking down practice on Wednesday. As I see Noah Young tuning in from the middle of Germany somewhere on a train. All right, enjoy the trip to Amsterdam. I've heard it's lovely this time of year. Tuning in from the Delaware shore. Tuning in from Italy. All right, incredible. I can tell you're probably cheering against the Knights, against the Trojans, if you're here cheering on the Knights' interests. But yeah, the point of emphasis for UCD heading into today's game was if there is a chance to start the game with the ball, they want to do so today. Because with the Trojans gaining a lot of ground early in games and running up the score, UCD wants to score first, strike quickly, as it is a bit of a drizzle coming down at UCD Astro Field. Before today's game begins, I have an important announcement to make. We've had a challenge thrown down from one of our viewers and has offered to match euro for euro up to €500 for every donation made during today's contest. This viewer has offered to match donations to allow our club to cover year-end expenses as well as additional funding for transportation to our final few away games. We want to thank this viewer for graciously allowing us to use this, but for everybody, that means you need to be part of this. So here are the donation links for Revolut for our Irish viewers and for PayPal for our viewers around the world. I will put these up again at halftime. All right, so UCD will begin with the ball. Returning kicks today for UCD will be Alex Kusmarek, number 19, tending to line up on the left side, and Jack Finnegan, number 33, lining up on the right. Kicking for the Belfast Trojans should be number 12, Oren Wilson, who will also line up as a defensive player throughout the course of today's contest. And here's the kick. We're underway. Let's have some fun. Finnegan on the field, running up the middle. He's got some blockers ahead of him, getting toward the 30-yard line before he is stopped at forward progress to begin today's contest. Let's have some fun today. The offensive lineup for UCD, led up by their quarterback and captain, Aaron Mooney. Tom McKenniff beginning at the offensive side on the running back. We have a couple of different changes from the offensive end. 6 changes to be specific from the Week 4 game, with a lot of the starters returning to action. Dara Mooney, Tom Donovan, Stu Wiley, and Pat Duffy are on the wide receiver front. Alenki, Malone, Meidel, Sweeney, and Cherpiche have the offensive line duties. Cherpiche is not wearing number 69 today. He is wearing number 65. His normal number jersey was not available when he came into today. McKenniff on the opening run. A flag comes in on the first play, and it's an early stop for the Trojans. Going to have to rely on signals, because if I turn on the field audio to hear the penalty announcements, it's a holding against UCD on the first play. So this will now set up first and 20. So already first play from scrimmage going backwards for UCD. That run was bottled up the middle, facing a staunch Trojans defense today. Belfast has a plus 150 point differential as Mooney takes a shotgun snap, going over the side, and Wiley overshot his receiver, incomplete. Linebacker, it looked like Duval Merchant, number 19, had a chance at that one. Could not bring it down. So now 2nd and 20 as UCD resets their offensive alignment, bringing 3 receivers to the right-hand side. Mooney's got a shotgun set, McKenniff right next to him, and they're going to hand it off and try to get some yards. McKenniff barreling up the field, and Max Dimitrov, among others, in on the stop on a gang tackle. Trojans keeping UCD from getting positive yards here to start today's game. Welcome back, Durthang 1000. Happy to see you. Shotgun formation again. 4 receivers, 1 to the left, 3 to the right. Mooney sets, takes the snap, and backs up. Going over the side and overshooting Sean Douglas, incomplete as UCD's drive stalls. So the opening drive for UCD looking like it's going to end with no points and very few yards following the offensive holding on play number 1. Happy to see you, Graham. Welcome back. Returning kicks for the Trojans will be likely number 0, Rayshawn Boswell. As lined up to punt today for UCD, punter is Tom Donovan. The new long snapper today is number 4, Dara Mooney, one of the starting wide receivers. as he now leans over the ball and Donovan is back. Pop-up snap, and Donovan's able to get this one away. Heavy rush came forward as this one is just going to roll down as it is downed again by Evan Quigley, number 36. Brings out the starting defense now for UCD. This is the staunchest defense in the Premier Division. UCD allows the fewest points per game at 6.5 with 2 shutouts so far this season. They are captained by Larry Doyle and Camille Cherpiche. Note for everybody, Cherpiche is wearing a different number today. He's not wearing 69, he is wearing 65. His normal number was not available when he went through the jersey outline today. So let's see what the Belfast Trojans offense has in their possession today. 2 backs with the shotgun snap for Dominic Lynn, number 9, their starting quarterback. As it looks like it's going to be a free play here for the Trojans. They'll take a deep shot here, looking to the right-hand side, and it's broken up incomplete. So it'll just be a free 5 yards and a reset for first down. As Lynn took a shot on that offside play coming from the right side, looked like Cherpiche jumped offside ever so slightly. My bad, that's Owen Feely, number 0, alongside Cherpiche at 65. So 1st and 5, coming here for the Trojans, dressed in their Belfast greens with white helmets. There was a equipment controversy between UCD and the Trojans. The Trojans have 2 uniforms. They have a slate-style gray and this green that they typically wear for home games. They don't have a white, so that would have been a color clash if they wore the gray too close to the blue. Handoff up the middle. Cherpiche trying to take him down. Doyle able to get a hand on him as this is a first down gain. Rayshawn Boswell on the run. Boswell is going to be a major issue. I don't believe there is a way for me to brighten the footage. That comes from the camera, and today it's a very overcast day in Dublin 4. You may be able to see some droplets of rain coming in as well. Mohammed Ramadan set to the right and Rayshawn Boswell set behind with 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Run up the middle again. Boswell able to get 3, and he does not get the first down, but he gets a good gain. 2nd and short coming up here as the new defensive line comes out for UCD on a heavy front 4. This methodical Trojans offense has put to bed a lot of opponents throughout the course of this season. They come in at 5-0, best team in the Premier Division by record. UCD right behind them at 4-0. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right, and 2 in the backfield. Dominic Lynn back to pass, and he runs right into Alenki, who keeps hold of his jersey. He slips free, and a spy coming down on him. He gets the pass away, getting it to the sideline. This is going to be trouble for UCD. It's an opening drive for the Trojans. They get close to the goal line. A flag flew late in the play. Game sounds. So I'm using a new sound setup today, and if I play the field sounds, my audio doesn't come through. So sadly, there is no sound from the field today. But I can turn it on if need be. As there is a discussion now on what the penalty is. Dominic Lynn was scrambling around for quite a while. Typically, when a play like that happens, offensive holding is the call to bring the play all the way back. It would erase a long gain for the Belfast Knights and Trojans. I might trip myself up on that a few times. As a flag is going to be spotted at the 5 for UCD. Let's see where the signal is here from the white-hatted official. And it's against the Trojans. And judging from the marchback, it is a spot foul. So the result of the play stands, it's first down, but instead it'll be from about the 15-yard line instead of from inside the 10. Lynn with the shotgun back has a bunch formation to his right and one to the left. Lynn takes, Lynn hands off. Boswell going around the side. He cuts it back. Counterplay. Boswell's got a lot of speed. Boswell finds the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. Belfast strikes first. Now here comes the kicker, number 12, Oren Wilson, for the point after try. As the Trojans are able to do something no team in the Premier Division has done before, hold UCD off the scoreboard on their opening drive, followed by Belfast going down the field in a slow march to take the lead by 7 after the PAT is found to be good. So Boswell gets the scoring started with a long touchdown run, as the Trojans are on the board with 7 and UCD playing from behind. Glad to see everybody tuning in today. My name is Max Wolpoff. I want to thank everybody for being part of today's broadcast. Wherever you're tuning in from, we want to thank each and every one of you and whoever you're tuning in for. As it'll be Wilson back to do kickoff duties for the Trojans, kicking this one toward the left-hand side of his defensive formation. Finnegan once again. He shakes loose from a couple of defenders, and he's able to get toward the sideline before a stop from Max Dimitrov pushes him out of bounds. So something UCD is not used to doing, playing from behind, as an injury on the field as a Trojans player down. Not sure who it is. Somebody is flat on the ground, struggling to get up. And it's serious enough that somebody comes in from Belfast's sideline to tend to him. Play happened away from the ball, so I'm not sure what happened there. UCD will begin their second drive on the right offensive hash. They opened their offensive series with a punt. Following a first down offensive holding, they were then unable to get many yards beyond that. Unable to get the penalty yards back when they got that chance again. UCD coming out today in their dark blue home uniforms. Belfast in their typical home greens, as now the medical staff is also out to attend to this injured Trojans player. If anyone's got questions, I'll be able to answer most reasonable questions throughout the course of today's broadcast. Now is as good a time as any to get those questions in. Well, we've got this opportunity. I want to thank the people who donated during the Match 4 stream, including the O'Briens, the Freemans, the Ehrlichs, the Harpers, the Coreys, and the Donovans. Thank you so much for being part of UCD American football. We could not do these broadcasts or these games without the support of our generous donors, which leads me back to the field because the injured player is going to be walked off. UCD back on the attack. Mooney, a pistol back set. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. High snap, pitch play. Blockers out ahead. McKenniff on the run. McKenniff getting to the edge, and he's unable to get very far. Gang tackle stops him just getting beyond the 20-yard line. Sets up second down. Mooney again, pistol back formation. This time they flip 3 receivers to the right side on the far side of the field. High snap again to the shoulder, looking for that swing pass. They're looking for Wiley over the middle. It's intercepted! Intercepted by Thomas Boyd, getting back to the 30-yard line over to the 20, and the Trojans turn UCD over on 2 straight possessions and are set up in great field position to take advantage of the opposition. An uncharacteristic poor start for UCD has them on the back foot with the defense back on the field. Lynn with 2 in the backfield and 2 out wide. We'll take the snap from Dave Shaw. This one's a handoff to who else but Boswell. Boswell takes a short gain up the middle. The New Yorker, hard to bring down, previously played for Hobart University, which is a university in upstate New York for those uninitiated. Boswell is not a rookie to football, but is new to the Belfast Trojans. In this, his first season, he's lit the league on fire with his electric runs. UCD's defense already seen a sampling of that today. Bunch formation to the right, tight. Single receiver is Michael Ferris, spread out left. And this time Boswell's not going to get very far, looking like a third down coming here. And they respot the ball a yard ahead of where they had it previously, setting up 3rd and short for the Trojans. Another bunch tight to the right formation, same as last play. UCD staying in their classic nickel formation. Linebackers and safeties creeping up, expecting to run from Boswell. Instead, they do an end around to Ramadan. Ramadan getting around the edge, and there's 3 flags on the play, as it looked like Ramadan was able to make the run. We'll see what the call is, as is holding against the Trojans. So this will back up the team and set up a 3rd and long following the 10-yard march back. UCD sold out to stop the run from Boswell. And the Trojans, knowing that that's one of their strengths, faked it to him, handed it off to Ramadan. But a block resulted in a hold. Puts a 3rd and long up for grabs here for the Trojans. 2 receivers left. And 1 spread far to the right as Ramadan comes in shotgun formation. Lynn back to throw. Lynn gets it underneath to Boswell. He's not going to get the first down, but he gains most of the penalty yards back. Sets up an interesting question here for the Trojans early on in this game. They do have an extra point unit. But it looks like they're going to keep the offense out to go for it. Early in this first quarter, feels like a big swing possession here for UCD on defense. A stop here means they put the ball back in the hands of their offense and keep the deficit at 7. Lynn trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Lynn back to throw. Going for the end zone, and it's broken up, incomplete. Turnover on downs in the red zone results in UCD getting the ball back down by 7. The Trojans are the only team in the Premier Division to have clinched a playoff berth. They did so with their victory over Dublin Rebels in their most recent game. Trojans play 2 of the relegation battling teams coming up to end the season. And UCD can clinch a playoff berth with a victory today. UCD will play the Dublin Rebels, South Dublin Panthers, and then close the season north of the border against the recently promoted Craigavon Cowboys. As here's a run to start the drive. It's a short gain. 2nd and long coming for UCD. The students attacking the southeast end zone, heading toward County Wicklow. As Jack Finnegan now in at running back. Mooney gets the signals from the sidelines with coach Mark Lawless and the backup quarterbacks Joe Carroll and Tygo O'Connor. High snap, pitch. It's a handoff on the read option play. Finnegan is able to get free, setting up toward the 30. They'll send Wiley out toward a tight end position on the left side. Douglas will stay tight with him. 2 receivers right, single setback. And now it's a motion. They tight the formation up to the right side. And it's a free play here for UCD. Mooney's going to roll out, finds his man, finds Donovan. Donovan gets free, he gets the first down, and he'll fall forward following the tackle from Boyd, who had the interception on the last drive. We've got 100 viewers so far in the stream. Thank you so much for making us part of your Saturday, whether it's morning in America or evening in Asia or afternoon somewhere in Europe. Thank you so much for being part of your Saturday. We're glad you're here with us for this clash at the top of the table between UCD and the Belfast Trojans. Gary and Robin Schultz watching from Kansas. Happy to see, tuning in from the heartland. Thank you so much for being part of your Saturday. There's a bit of a discussion here as far as enforcement of the penalties. And it's an offensive penalty to wipe out the gain, as it's offsetting penalties, so it'll just be 3rd and short coming up again for UCD. Nigeria tuning in. Happy to see you. Thank you so much for being part of your Saturday. A touchdown run from Boswell is all that separates the team so far. UCD yet to get past the offensive side of the field. Mooney takes the snap. Mooney throws, looking for Donovan. Got it over the side, out of bounds, and has the first down. A flag does come in the backfield. It initially looked like it was just the yellow cleats of Michael Bradford, number 77, but there is a flag in the offensive backfield, typically where holding occurs. As Stu Wiley being brought over to talk to our white-hatted official. As it is an offensive holding call. So this 3rd and short sets up a 3rd and long. And the Trojans, by the work of some penalties, might get themselves off the field with a stop here. Cloudy, overcast with some light rain is the forecast here for Dublin 4. And Mooney waiting for the signal to come back in. Brooklyn, good to see you, Mr. Goldblatt. High snap for Mooney. Mooney looking to his left first. Goes to the right now. Wanting to side. Incomplete pass. Had two receivers looking for it as Mooney takes a heavy shot as he released the ball. And it's going to be a punt formation coming up here for UCD. They'll put Donovan back behind the long snapper. Wonder if they'll start to play keep away from Boswell, as he is the kick and punt returner for the Trojans and already has shown he is capable of outrunning UCD's defense. Dara Mooney hands on the ball. Donovan will get the pop-up snap, gets it away. It's blocked! Blocked by the Trojans. They'll fall on top of it, but it's touched by the Trojans first. And this will set up in great field position following the block. Further proof that this league needs more consistent stat keeping. There is nobody with the number 7 on the roster the Belfast Trojans gave me prior to today's contest, but number 7 is the one who blocked the kick. So this sets up a red zone drive to start. Belfast's now third drive of the day as Dominic Lynn returns out. Will Ehrlich tuning in. Thank you so much for coming in from your home in Ohio, my bad. Boswell on the pitch play, gets around the defender. Flag comes in the backfield as Lynn took a heavy shot. And so did Boswell, as Lynn staying on the ground momentarily as he gathers himself. And looks like this is potentially more serious. Roughing the passer is the call, as UCD gifts a first down to hit Dominic Lynn late. UCD taking the penalty time to rotate in a few substitutes. As the Trojans opting not to hustle to the line. They're still in the huddle. As Lynn, despite being injured on that last play, is allowed to stay out there. Shotgun formation. Happy to see tuning in from Italy. Handoff is to Boswell. Boswell getting the edge, and he does get to about the 2. Officials will confer, and he stopped short. Not by much, as Boswell is a few yards away from getting his second touchdown of the day and putting the Trojans even further ahead. First time UCD has trailed all season. As now it's a discussion among the officials. You'll hear me say that a lot throughout the course of today's contest. As the officials now running over to talk to each other without using the official-to-official communications that I have been assured that they are available to referees. I'm not sure. Thank you, Polish, for the rule clarification. As this conference is going to continue 7-0 lead for the table toppers in the Premier Division. And they rule it a touchdown. So after a lengthy discussion, Belfast is on the board with 6. Second TD of the day for Rayshawn Boswell. And that brings out Oran Wilson to kick the extra point. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is up and it is good. 14-0 Trojans on top of UCD here in this first quarter of action. First time UCD have trailed all season, and now they're down by 2 possessions as Finnegan and Kusmerik stay out to catch this kick return. Trojans today coming in with a full strength lineup, as UCD has been much bemoaned. A lot of the players from the undergraduate side have returned home. A lot of the American players especially have returned home given the end of the school year was a couple of weeks ago. So this is mostly a veteran-laden team, not as deep as they traditionally are. The kick is to Kusmerik. The free safety runs up the middle, getting through some of his blockers and spun down around the 23-yard line. So Aaron Mooney leads the UCD team back out onto the field, as the students have yet to get a first down on their offensive drives today. Punt, interception, and a blocked punt are their 3 drives so far in this first quarter of action. Camera briefly went away as looks like a catch from the blurry feed that I do have. Apologies, the camera will sometimes go haywire every now and then. This one seemed to be because of my internet. Long first down gain. So it's second and manageable. Here's the snap, and Mooney's going to keep it. Mooney takes a few short strides. It gains about 2 yards on the play. Setting up from the 33-yard line. Mooney has all his receivers to the right-hand side. Offside is the call here. It's a short pass to Donovan. They'll take the short gain. They're not going to get the yards as a second flag comes in from the side judge. So offside looks like the call on the initial part of the play, as it was 3rd and short. It is going to be a first down for UCD following the penalty. So this is their first down of the game, closing in on midfield. High snap to Mooney. He's able to field it. Pass rush gets through, looking for Dara Mooney, and it's incomplete. Officials helped out by the Belfast sideline making the signals themselves. 2nd down and 10 coming up here. Ball on the 38. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell everybody the 45-yard line is considered to be the midway point of this field, as it is a shortened field due to the rugby dimensions. Snap to Mooney, looking for a quick pass to Donovan. He gets past the midfield line, and he's gang tackle, going to keep the ball close in his hands, as Max Dimitrov could not pull it away, and neither could any of his Trojans teammates. Sets up another 1st and 10. Ball on the 36 now. Mooney takes the snap, fakes the handoff to McKenna. It's a short play looking for Dara Mooney, and this one is an incomplete forward pass, as Tom Donovan's the one hanging on to Dara, telling him something he needs to do. Again, thank you so much to everybody who is closing in on part of this matchup, as it is a offensive penalty on UCD to end of the quarter. So UCD ends a quarter in the negative for the first time this season, as they trail 14-0 to the undefeated 5-0 Belfast Trojans. Trojans got off to a very hot start to begin the season, mostly against 3 of the worst teams in the league, as it was a 47-7 beatdown of South Dublin, a 40-0 spanking of Craigavon, followed by a 13-8 close one against Cork. The snap was to Mooney. Mooney is looking for Dara Mooney. He's got him over the side, and it's complete. 1st down coming as UCD picks up the pace. First and 10, ball at the 24-yard line. Mooney's the pitch play. Receivers out to block. Going toward the right side. Camera loses sight of the play, but McKenna looks like he got a good gain from that. Given the movement, it's not quite a 1st down yet. Closing in on the 15-yard line. Got to get about 2 more yards for a 1st. 2 receivers to the left, as the camera loses sight of the ball. This will happen from time to time. It's nothing to worry about. Bunched left formation. As the offense looks back toward the bench for signals. And they'll run it up the middle. This one is going to get through for another 1st down. Resets the chains. Best field position so far for UCD, following the run by McKenna. Finnegan coming in now at running back. Not quite 1st and goal, setting up from, looks like the 11-yard line, so UCD can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown. The snap is to Mooney. Handoff on the way. Finnegan getting around, and looks like a blocking foul going to be called here on 1st down. And judging by the reaction from UCD's bench, it is against the home team. The man in the yellow hat at the bottom of the screen is head coach Dara Farrell. And they wave off the flag. So instead of a penalty, it is going to be a 1st down run for positive gains. Sets up 2nd down from about the 8-yard line. Is UCD on the march, trying to come back and get on the scoreboard for the first time today. 3 receivers right, shotgun back, 1 receiver left. Mooney takes on the jump snap. Mooney's going to hang on to it, gets it out for Dara Mooney, and there's a flag on the play. Donovan's got it. Donovan leaps over the side, trying to get toward the goal line. Looks like he's going to be down short either way, as there is a flag in the offensive backfield. And it is holding against UCD. Thank you to one of our viewers for telling me it's Jose Orozco, number 7 for the Trojans. The roster that I have has him at number 4. So luckily there are no people with numbers between 2 and 8 otherwise. So at least it's Jose Orozco's same number in the order on the sheet that I have. Second down and long. Mooney takes. Mooney the swing pass for Finnegan. Finnegan cannot get around to defender as Mooney took a hard hit late. Number 50, Stephen Weir, the one walking away from the hit. As this may bail out UCD's offense. Automatic first down on the 15-yard penalty. Marched off half the distance because we're inside of the red zone. Personally, I do like the United Football League's rule about this, where the UFL has you march the full length of the penalty off unless you go into the end zone, in which case you put it at the 1. Twins receivers each side with a shotgun back. Mooney takes a snap to his left. Finnegan the run. Finnegan jumping around and cannot get away from Weir, who makes the tackle clean, sets up second and goal. It is worth repeating throughout the course of this game as UCD closes in on the goal line. They do not have a field goal kicking unit as part of their roster today, and they haven't had one as part of their whole season. Philosophical strategy by the coaching staff. They don't kick field goals. They don't kick extra points. Their scoring range is getting into the end zone. Here's Mooney looking left. Mooney over the side, and Wiley is met by 2 defenders. It's an incomplete pass for third and goal. Dara Farrell pleading his case for Yeah, I hear you, Polish. Again, this is part of the reason I like new leagues challenging the NCAA and the NFL for talent. They have to come up with rule innovations that make them different. Through receiver's right side, Dara Mooney solo out to the left. This is a pitch play to Finnegan. They got blockers aside, and Finnegan takes a trip on the play. It's going to set up a 4th and goal from about the 6. First drive of the second quarter has UCD on the doorstep as they get their competing signals from their 3 signal callers. Eddie Goggins Sr. in the hat, Joe Carroll, number 16, and Tygo Connor, number 7. Mooney rolling out left. Mooney going to throw to the back of the end zone, and it's going to sail out incomplete. And the Trojans hold serve as UCD unable to score down in the red zone. Trojans backed up deep in their own end to start their 4th drive of the game. Punched it in for touchdowns on 2 of their 3 drives and ended a previous one in the red zone, turning it over on downs. Otherwise, in the Premier Division, the Belfast Knights sit in 3rd and have 3 contests to close the season against the Panthers, the Rebels, and the Admirals. So a decent chance for the Knights to make the playoffs as well, for the Trojans and the Knights to have both Belfast teams in. Handoff on the way is to Boswell. Boswell able to break free from the first layer of tacklers and get out to make more yards for another first down. The long drive for UCD took a lot of time off the clock in the second quarter, as the Trojans come set with their two-back formation. It's like a modified T formation as the motion goes back out in the return. Lynn stepping up. Lynn going to his right, and it's over the sideline, and it is caught, judging by the reaction from the Trojans sideline. Explosive play sets the Trojans up with a field flipper, starting out now on the 31. Yeah, sorry, Terrence Smith. The artificial intelligence camera we use is not always the greatest. Actually, it's frequently not great. T formation backfield. And Lynn holds on to the ball. Lynn has nobody to pitch it to now. He trips over his own guy as the ball came out. They're going to rule Lynn was down by contact on what looks like it's going to be classified as a sack by the quarterback run. Second and long coming up. And there's a flag on the far side of the field. Belfast is backing up pretty far. UCD is going to take this opportunity to change out their defensive line, trying to keep as many guys fresh as possible. No, it is not an Allen Iverson camera. It's an artificial intelligence camera. I can appreciate that joke. I grew up at a time when AI was pretty good for being on the not-so-good 76ers teams. Let's see what the signal is. A legal block below the waist from the Trojans. Great to see you, the O'Brien family, tuning in from Connecticut. Yes, I saw Sean at the lockup prior to coming back to my apartment to broadcast the game today. Coaching staff was wondering where he had been for training this week, as now it's going to set up a lengthy first down following the illegal block below the waist penalty against the Trojans, back on their defensive half of the field. Lynn and Boswell setting up again, changing the strength of the play to the right side. Lynn takes, Boswell swings out on the far side, and looking over the middle, this one is going to be way overshot, incomplete. It is worth noting these teams, the Trojans and UCD, met in a preseason scrimmage prior to the first game of the season for either side. Trojans and UCD went head-to-head in a spirited scrimmage that had both teams number ones and twos going at it for a long time. Temperature in Kelvin. You can do the conversion yourself, but it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Three receivers left. Lynn drops back. Boswell stays into pass protect, and Alenki gets to him. He throws the ball away. Incomplete, avoiding the sack, but now it's a third and long. Yeah, I was talking with Sean prior to coming back, and he did mention that there were some issues between moving from his university accommodation to an apartment for the summer. As I'm sure some of you might be aware, there is a housing crisis in Ireland. There are not enough beds for the demand that is placed on people who want to move here, in Dublin especially. So if you can find a place to stay, it is a huge benefit. Long third down coming here for the Trojans. T formation backfield. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. 1 back stays into pass protect. Rush gets through. Lynn is looking for anybody. He's tripped behind the line, and it's a good sack. UCD looks like they're going to get off the field. Eddie Goggins Jr. finishing off the play as Belfast looking like they will line up to punt. And UCD's got the chance here to start with a decent field position following the penalty and a sack on third down. Moran Wilson, the one, back to punt. Spread formation along the side. It's a high snap. And this one going to get out of play toward the sideline. And no return on this one. Brings out UCD's offense once again as they are now 0 for 4 on drives for the day. Punt, interception, punt that was blocked, and a turnover on downs in the red zone are the 4 drives so far for UCD as we get set for here in the second quarter of action. Trojans on top 14-0. This is going to set up an interesting moment for UCD, an interesting trivia fact. Aaron Mooney has not played in the fourth quarter at any point this season. And given the way this game is going, it's likely that's going to be the case, as the ball looked like it came loose. UCD's Aaron Mooney fell back on top of it after the exchange with McKenniff did not go according to plan. So a first down gets knocked back a few inside their own 15-yard line. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Mooney looking to the right first, has a second read to the left. It's Mooney again, as Aaron finds Dara for a long gain, setting up third and manageable. Same formation as previous. Mooney sets. Mooney looking. Mooney's finding a man over the middle. It's McKenniff on the slant route. McKenniff going over the side. He's got the midfield stripe, and he'll get out of bounds at the opposing 41-yard line. Tom McKenniff, one of 6 changes back into the starting rotation from the University of Limerick game that UCD started a brand new roster on both offense and defense. 4 receivers left, 1 to the right in a spread formation. Mooney backs up to throw. Mooney's got a short pass and undershoots Douglas and Mooney. 2nd and 10. Have to get to the 31 to reset the chains. We're grateful for all of you who have joined us, whether you're tuning in to cheer on UCD or you're tuning in to cheer on the Trojans. We're happy you've decided to join us for your Saturday of entertainment. As a late jump here from somebody on the Trojans, doesn't look like a flag is out. Mooney sends a pass over the middle, and it's Jack Finnegan on the reception. A short gain sets up 3rd and long. Third and 8 coming up here. They'll split the receivers 2 aside. Motion from Douglas. And it looks like nobody's biting. And as nobody followed him, looks like zone coverage for the Trojans. Mooney stands. Mooney will deliver the ball to Finnegan. It's intercepted on the short route. Mooney takes down his number counterpart. That's number 17. Also not a number I have, as it's the 2nd interception for Mooney today. as the Trojans are in good field position. So anybody for the Belfast Trojans side, who's number 17? Because that is not a number I was given. One of my many complaints about broadcasting in this league, the numbers are not consistent game to game for each player, and sometimes even given a roster, I don't get all of the numbers that people are going to play with that day. So Dominic Lynn will lead the Trojans back out to battle, trying to extend this lead to 3 possessions after the interception. Lynn on the handoff, and Boswell a short gain. Second down on Belfast's second drive of the quarter. And the interception was Brandon Falconer. Thank you to Kieran Playford for that spotter information. He's number 27 in the notes that I was given, which that one might have been a 2. Lynn stands in shotgun formation, a bunch formation to his right. Fake the handoff. It's now an end around. It's a fumble on the play, and this fumble ends up being a costly loss. One of the end around to 85, Noah Benheim, and that did not go well at all. Third and forever coming up for the Trojans, as UCD looks like they're going to call their first timeout, trying to preserve as much time as possible here in the second quarter, as the students unable to score on any of their 5 drives so far, turning it over twice. As the Trojans now attack the southeast end zone, heading toward the UCD Bowl, which, if anybody is familiar with FIFA from some of the older video games when UCD had a team in the games because they were in the Premier Division of Irish, the League of Ireland for Irish soccer, the UCD Bowl is where they play their home games. So if you just keep running southeast, you'll eventually get there. You have to cut through some trees to go take a direct route, or you can just take the sidewalk routes like a normal person. But you don't have to be normal. Third and forever coming up here for the Trojans. Let's see how they play it up by 2 possessions, with UCD poised to get the ball back. As it's a false start. Mike McCauley on the right tackle position for the Belfast Trojans, number 56, backs up the Trojans 5 more yards. So third and forever gets to be third and forever plus 5. We're closing in on halftime, so if you've got any longer questions that I might be able to answer, toss them my way. More than happy to take a stab at some of your questions. Trojans lead by 2 possessions. They'll switch the strength of the formation to the left-hand side. Lynn stands and waits. He takes a heavy hit to deliver the pass, and it is dropped incomplete. A lot of traffic back at the secondary for that ball. It ends up going nowhere. Clock will stop. Where am I casting from? I am casting from my apartment, which is about a 25 to 30-minute walk from where the game is being played. I do it from here because, frankly, the internet is more reliable than trusting the UCD internet. Yes, big shout out to Peter Core and Brian Lynn watching from the kitchen. Thank you, Mr. Moo. Punt coming up here for the Trojans. It's a high pop-up, and UCD blocks it. UCD handles it, and this one is taken by UCD, and a flag comes in late on the play. So I'm going to hold to call this possession over, as if this is a penalty on UCD, likely going to be a re-kick by the Trojans, but it is a blocked punt. As it looks like UCD's offense is coming out on the field, so initial indication is a penalty against the Trojans. Watching while editing wedding photos. Mazel tov to the couple. I assume it was you and somebody else, not the photos you took of somebody else's wedding. Nah, not my assumption to make. Well, thrilled you've decided to tune in today to cheer on your team. As they will tack on the penalty yards, as it is a personal foul. So already both teams have blocked a punt from the other team, and this sets up UCD inside the red zone, looking for their first score of the game. 1st and 10 from about the 14-yard line as the chain gang rushes downfield to get back into position. Aaron Mooney sets up with 2 receivers to his left. Dom Donovan motions to the left of the backfield as now they get a look at the Belfast formation and turn back to the sideline for a modification of the play. Camera goes haywire looking toward the left-hand side as Mooney tells Donovan something. The 2-time Shamrock Bowl MVP will spread out on an underneath route. He's got the pass. Donovan is not going to get very far, has his ankles wrapped up, fighting for as many yards as he can get, and forward progress is stopped after a short gain. Another timeout for UCD. That's their second of the half. They have 1 remaining. Belfast still has all 3 of their timeouts. How long's left in the half? I'm not totally sure. We're almost certainly past the halfway point. There is no standard clock that I get to see. So the only time that I am sure of how much time is left in the quarter is either when it ends or when there's a 2-minute warning, as the officials are discussing something as potentially just having a chat after the timeout. So UCD comes back after the short first down gain on the underneath throw to Tom Donovan. Pistol formation with 2 receivers split each side. Mooney takes the snap. Mooney rolls out to his right. He's got a little bit of room to run. He's going to throw back across his body. Overshot his receiver, incomplete. Wanted Pat Duffy, a tall target in the back of the end zone. But on throws like that, you either aim it high or you don't throw it at all. Third down coming here for UCD. Can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Finnegan was one in the backfield that Mooney's talking to. Aaron takes the snap. Aaron will overthrow everybody, incomplete, as the rain starting to come down at UCD. 4th down here, as UCD must get a first down to keep this gift of a drive going. No field goal unit on the team, so the offense stays on in formation to get the yards needed for a first down or a touchdown. Mooney takes the jumping snap, throwing to his left, and he overshot Dara Mooney, incomplete. Turnover on downs again inside the red zone. 0 for 6 on offensive drives are UCD today. Sixth drive of the half coming up for the Belfast Trojans. Up by 14. UCD with one timeout left, Trojans with all three. As the rain is starting to come down at Belfield. Dominic Lynn and the Trojans come back out to defend their lead and potentially add to it. Two in the backfield, handoff is to Boswell, who's bottled up. A flag comes in on the play. As everybody stops to see what the adjudication is. What do the refs talk about? I assume, because otherwise I'd be upset with how things are going, I assume they talk about the penalties and the play on the field. As let's see the signal from our white hat as he will eventually stop moving. Holding on the offense. So this will push the Trojans back even further, but UCD opts to decline it and take the play as it was. It was a short gain. Sets up second down coming up. As number 45, Larry Doyle, the one chatting with, I believe that's the down judge. Yeah, perhaps dinner plans. I don't know. They might have a chat about the weather. You're right, King Curly. I see where, yeah. If you watch AFI games, you will be accustomed to seeing referees chat among each other for most of the game. Modified T formation here for the Trojans. Handoff to Boswell. He finds a hole, gets a first down. He's got the edge. He's got speed. He's got one man to beat. Down the sideline he goes, and it's a drag down out of bounds. Dan Vershu saving a touchdown on the tackle. A field flipping run by the electric Rayshawn Boswell. Dan Vershu, the only starting American left on the teams today, as a lot of UCD's American students have gone home for the summer. We're thrilled that some of them have decided to join us in the chat today. I saw long snapper and linebacker Will Ehrlich was among those who was there, as looks like a timeout taken, potentially the 2-minute warning given to both benches. Pistol shotgun set. Two receivers right, one to the far left. Handoff again is to Adam McElwee. It's a short gain, sets up second down. And a flag comes in late after the play, as that's number 65, Camille Cherpiche, arguing about something. As one of the captains on this team. As the rain's starting to get heavy down at campus. Which is funny because I'm not that far from campus and I look outside. It is not raining where I am. It is an AstroTurf field for what it's worth as far as, I guess refs just getting their steps in. I'm sure every referee gets their steps in going up and down the field throughout the course of the game. I enjoyed the chuckle, though, Emma. as the White Hat picks up the flag, makes no signal. Jimmy Johnson is tuning in. A fun fact for our watching audience, Jimmy and I, we met, what was it now, 2 years ago at George Washington's sports industry networking conference. And I didn't know that Jimmy was as an accomplished football coach as he was. So he actually lent a helping hand to the Belfast Trojans in the offseason. So I made sure that he knew that this was the game that everyone knew it would be. A big top of the table clash. Return motion here as Lynn now going to run. Lynn is crunched on the play. He ends up getting a short gain on 1st and goal. Timeout Trojans. Trying to add to their lead and double up UCD as the Trojans will receive the ball to start the second half. Yeah, no kidding, Jimmy. Crazy how time flies. Where that was 2 years ago that I think of all things, we met in line waiting to talk to somebody else, as tends to happen at those networking events where everyone's there to talk to a handful of people. And the rest of us just sort of wait standing in line, chatting each other up. But I guess that's sort of how networking goes anyway, especially at white-collar events. So from the 5, Trojans will set up again. Out of the timeout, Trojans come back. This is their 6th drive of the game. This is their 4th drive to make it to the offensive red zone. Bunch formation to the right. Motion goes out toward the left. Slot receiver is Michael Ferris. Lynn takes the snap. It's a handoff to Boswell. They faked it. Going to throw over the top, and it's incomplete. Eddie Goggins Jr. late on coverage, but the pass was overthrown as the incompletion sets up, looks like 3rd and goal. Trojans offense has succeeded where UCD has failed in punching in these critical plays throughout the course of the game. Lynn's got Ramadan and Boswell in the backfield. UCD setting their defensive line. 3rd and goal. Handoff is to Boswell right up the middle, and the spot is short. Belfast will take a timeout as they drain a bit more clock. As they decide what they're going to do, they send the kicking unit back out, and then they bring them back to the bench. So Lynn and the offense are staying on the field. Fourth and goal from it looks like inside the 1. Trying to get a 3rd score on the board. And now, timeout UCD. Their final timeout. So now the Trojans and UCD have a few more seconds to think about what they're going to do here. Belfast will receive the first second half kickoff. And that creates a sense of urgency here to potentially put the game away. UCD has not had to come back from anything this season. They have not trailed until this game. In fact, UCD is very much used to jumping out to an early big lead and throwing in the backups to start the season. Goal to go situation, UCD hunting for a goal line stand to keep Belfast out of the end zone. Critical play for UCD's future in this game. James Lynn spread far to the right. Dominic Lynn stands behind center with Rayshawn Boswell. Motion from Ramadan. And they'll take the snap to Ramadan. It's a short play. And do the Trojans get it? They do. Touchdown. $20-0. Trojans on top. And they'll set up to make it a 3-score game. All 3 touchdowns via the running variety, following the sneak from Mohammed Ramadan. The scoreboard on the fence has not been updated. It is 20-0, as, of course, there's a discussion about what's going on now. Not sure what the discussion is about. And they confirm the initial ruling on the field is touchdown. Wilson sets up for the extra point. Snap and hold are good. Rushes on, and this one is wide. So they miss the extra point. So it's 20-0. Trojans on top. As it looks like potentially a flag in the backfield. Or is that a shoe? Having had to watch the ball, I watched the ball instead of watching the contact. And indeed, it is roughing the kicker. So it looks like they will roll the offense back out, given the half the distance penalty. So the offense goes back out on the field for basically the same exact play that they had to score on. They'll retry the conversion. Lynn stands shotgun with Boswell far behind, as Ramadan is spread out to the left in a tight end set. UCD plugs up the middle, and they fake it. Going outside is Lynn. Lynn gets around Feely, and he will roll toward the corner of the end zone. Conversion is good. It's 22-0. A roughing the kicker penalty gifts the Trojans another chance at a conversion, and they take full advantage to make it 22-0. As it looks as though that is the final play of the half. Yes, indeed. That is now halftime. So again, we want to thank each and every one of our donors from our previous stream for tuning in and watching us. Your support means so much to us, as we cannot do these streams, we cannot do these games without the support of our generous donors. And today we have a challenge laid down from one of our viewers. We are doing a Euro for Euro match up to 500 euros from an anonymous benefactor. So if you care to donate, here is the link for Revolut on the left. If you are from Ireland and have Revolut, or if you are on PayPal for the rest of the world, the link is on the right. Any amount will be incredibly helpful for UCD American football to cover end of season expenses such as bus rides and new equipment, as equipment gets broken every single day, it feels like. So we want to thank each and every one of you for being part of these streams, for donating over the past 4 games, and for making today potentially our most successful day in American football at UCD. So thank you so much for being part of today's action. How much do you need to donate to get some touchdowns in the second half? I don't know what to tell you there, Big Smoke. Halftime plans. I normally take questions from the audience at halftime as the teams stay out on the field. So if you've got questions you want me to answer about life in Ireland, my time at UCD, answer personal questions within reason, I'm here to answer your questions. Halftime also affords me an opportunity to have a little bit of tea, potentially some water, and lubricate my voice from talking for an hour and a half now. Do I commentate any other leagues? I have commentated other leagues in the past, but I don't do anything right now. I'm finishing a master's thesis here at UCD, and that takes up most of my time. So if there are other leagues that are willing to work with me with my timing schedule, absolutely, I'll commentate other leagues. I've done ice hockey at the NCAA level in the United States. I've done a lot of different sports, field hockey, basketball. My favorite league is the NHL. No matter how frustrating it is to sometimes be a fan of the league, I enjoy watching the games. The action is incredibly fast. It's incredibly fun. The game is so good that the league's own incompetence can sometimes get overshadowed, which is thank goodness. But favorite league that I've ever commentated in would have to be the Canadian Women's Hockey League, when I worked for the Boston Blades and then the Worcester Blades when they moved out to Worcester, because that team was so much fun to be around. It was an incredibly tight-knit group of people. The women on that team were really special to allow me to stay as their commentator. Who wins playoffs in Division 1? I haven't seen any D1 games this year. I know that that Division 1 race for the top spot is an interesting one, and it's hard not to pick Westmeath as the yo-yo team that went down last season to come back up this season. That said, the Louth Mavericks might have something to say about that. Again, it is halftime, so if you're able to donate, thank you so much. Any score updates? I do not have any score updates. I'm sure people in the chat might, because they're probably closer to being able to watch the highlights. Holy goodness, 36-0. That's quite the score. Thank you to Ben Smith for being our sideline reporter, as it were. Now 42 zip. Yeah, updates go out a lot faster through the Instagram channels that I don't really use Instagram that much. So I actually try my best to stay off social media because it's not real life and it never was. Anyway, who's got other questions? We've got plenty of people in the chat where you're tuning in from. We've had a few viewers from the United States, some from Ohio, a few watching from Delaware, a couple people watching from Florida. Dates of the playoffs in July. So let me just go to my calendar because I have those dates blocked off to make sure that I tell you the correct dates. July 5th is the date for the semifinals, which is a Saturday, and July 19th is the date for the finals. The date for the finals in Athlone is going to be a 3-championship triple header where the Clada League, which is the new women's football league, will have their championship game. Division 1 will have their championship game, and the Premier Division will have their championship game. Shout out Mia and Amy tuning in from Belfast today. Probably super thrilled with the 22-0 scoreline. Actually, let me have that there. Put that there so everybody can see the current score. King Curly, I agree with you. It would be awesome if teams could organize streaming and broadcasting similar to what we have here at UCD. Personally, this is an opportunity that I couldn't turn down. UCD didn't approach me to do this. I approached the UCD team and offered to do this. And this has been a collaborative effort on the part of the team, working together with what accounts we had available to us already. And thankfully, the team had started streaming games last season on their run to their second Shamrock Bowl title. It'd be awesome if more teams did this. And I know that the capability is definitely there. Most teams do capture some form of game footage. Team preparation with a large change in players for this game. Yeah, so the last couple of training sessions for UCD, because those are the training sessions I'm able to attend, a lot of the effort has been on installing the offense and installing the defense to attack Belfast's formations. And especially, stop me if you've heard this before, Belfast Knights Trojans fans, stopping Rayshawn Boswell, number 0, was a point of emphasis throughout team preparation. And judging from the fact that Boswell has 2 touchdowns so far today, you can judge for yourself how that's going. There's been a large change in personnel, but for the most part, the personnel that is on the field for UCD are their first choices for those positions. There are a couple of American rookies who made a good impact this season, such as Jefferson Freeman and Lewis Stenson on offense, and Will Ehrlich on defense made big impacts. However, this year, much of the production has been from a lot of the Irish veterans. And especially now, with most of UCD gone for the summer, there is a lot looser scheduling of UCD's facilities. So normally, this is a little bit more inside baseball for those who are not interested. But normally, the field that you're seeing the game on is the field that we practice on. Let me just show you for a moment. Yeah, the field we play on here is also the field that the team practices on throughout the course of the week. And normally, the UCD's rugby teams have the block of time prior to UCD football coming on after them. And as a result, we have to wait until rugby is done to start. But now that rugby season is over for UCD's teams, there's nobody on prior to us. So we tend to get to the field around 7:30 now and practice until they kick us out, which is about 9:30 for Monday and for Wednesday. So that's 2 days of practices, both at night, to allow a lot of our full-time employed people, especially our coaches and our veterans, to make it to the practices on time. as well as for travel accommodations for those who are driving in from outside of Dublin and also from within the county. So hope that answers your question. Maybe we can get the league to ask the Steelers to buy the clubs. That'd be nice if, listen, I would love to see an NFL team, especially one with marketing rights here in Ireland like the Steelers have. It'd be incredible for football in this country if the Steelers could throw some money at bringing up the infrastructure supporting these teams. And I will say this till I'm blue in the face, getting the games to people is the biggest thing you can do, because there are people who watch these streams who are not attached to players, who are not attached to the game. They just tune in because it happens to be a live link on YouTube. So it'd be awesome to be able to get sponsorship. It'd be awesome to be able to get support from a big league that would be able to do that, whether it be an NCAA college, whether it be a conference, whether it be an NFL team. Right now, those are conversations I'm not privy to as to whether they're happening or not. But I think a lot of it starts with making sure that there's a commitment to growing the infrastructure around the game so that the presentation can be more regular compared to what it is now. Someone call Notre Dame. That's a great idea, King Curly. And I think the best part for any potential sponsors or any potential donors, your euro or your dollar or your Canadian dollar or your peso or whatever currency you're donating in goes a lot further in a league like this with limited investment throughout the course of the season. I'll say a little inside baseball here. The UCD team, we have to pay for the bus ourselves. And because we have to pay for the bus, the people who take the team bus to games often have to compensate the captains who arrange for the full payment. So that tends to be 15 to 20 euros per person, depending on how many people are on the bus. Because these buses that go across the country for road games, they don't come cheap. So if anyone's got more questions, I'll take this off so I can see as the teams are just now getting set to come back onto the field. Belfast will open the third quarter with the ball as UCD received the first half kickoff and punted after not being able to gain a first down. So let's see how the Trojans handle this. They're up 22-0 following 2 touchdowns in the first and 1 with a 2-point conversion in the second. We thank you, all of you, for joining us here throughout the course of this game. Once again, this broadcast is courtesy of UCD American Football. My name is Max Wolpoff. Thoughts on a 9-team division? I think that'd be fun if everybody plays each other once for an 8-game schedule. However, you'd have to have 9 capable teams. And judging by the fact that the Craigavon Cowboys are having such a tough year in their first year in the Premier Division in a while, it shows me maybe that I don't know if the talent is necessarily at that level. You've got the number of teams, especially if you go down to D1. Will Lambert lines up to kick us off and get us restarted here. As we are underway, let's have some more fun from a rainy Dublin 4 as the handle eventually comes to the receiver number 1, Max Dimitrov, able to get out of bounds to start their first drive of the quarter. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with me through halftime. As the rain really starting to come down now. Wonder who this would benefit more. But I guess we're about to find out. Dominic Lynn comes back out. Yeah, Vikings haven't scored a point this season. Cowboys struggling. The Admirals, despite their recent heater, they also struggled throughout the course of the season against the stronger teams. But they did hold Trojans to 13 points. Yeah, the Vikings really have struggled. Their lone scoreless draw against the South Dublin Panthers is their only standings point. And it's not a pretty look right now if you go across the division and see the class of the league definitely is on the field today. It's a 2-back look for Lynn. They'll hand it off to Boswell. Boswell getting out toward the left side of the formation, gets a long gain on first down. Oh, it's definitely a huge issue with being a non-pay sport, having to work around scheduling. And especially with recruiting being what it is, it's really tough on an amateur league to be great year to year, which is, I think, part of what's smart about UCD recruiting through the college for a lot of their newer players. 1st and 10 coming up here. Bunch formation tight to the right. Lynn barking signals, has Boswell behind him. They'll hand it off to the right side this time. Gap integrity maintained, and UCD hunting for the football, not able to get there on a gang tackle. Yeah, it would definitely be great to have a much more uniform schedule, but it's just not in the cards right now. However, I still think with a little bit more infrastructure investments at the governing body level for American Football Ireland, it's absolutely possible. I mean, I'm sure many of you have seen Shamrock Bowl streams on the AFI YouTube channel. There's definitely a way to do this. However, the investment tends to be strictly for big events like the Shamrock Bowl. Spread formation out, and somebody jumped. They're going to whistle the play dead. Who jumped first is the question. False start is the call, so this will set the Trojans back. Extra precedent. I can't speak Irish, and I'm not an Irish citizen, so I can't be president of this country, although there is a presidential election coming up here in this country, which is really strange because I moved from the United States to come here. I left behind a country that was in the middle of an election year, only to come here and have Parliament dissolve itself right after my birthday and declare an election. Gosh, elections here are terrible. Oh my goodness. The choices are a bunch of people calling for the exact same stuff. Twins formation, 2 receivers each side. Boswell swings out to the side, and he's going to get met in the backfield by Harry Watchorn. Goggins Jr. comes on for the double tackle, as the coaching staff for UCD starting to finally feel the rhythm for this game. Makes sense, Polish, and especially with the schedule starting relatively late in the school calendar in March. Like if the schedule started in, say, February and ended a month earlier, UCD might be able to keep a lot of their student talent for longer parts of the season. 3rd down and long coming up here for the Trojans. 2-back set, strength to the left side of the formation. UCD keeping with their nickel formation. They'll bring pressure. It's Boswell in the backfield, met and dropped for a loss. Will Lambert, the first one to him. And this brings up fourth down as the Trojans are unable to capitalize on the first drive of the half. Yeah, Irish weather might cause some issues, but you're going to have that no matter what. I mean, that was one of the issues with spring football in the United States. It's, the weather's going to be a problem. I mean, come on, the weather's a problem no matter where you play here. Wilson on to punt. It's a high snap, gets it off. And this one will bounce toward the 30, roll back to the 31. And UCD's offense back on the field for the first time in this half. Trailing by 22 points. Yeah, I know there are issues with bringing the league up to schedule, but that's part of why you need to have better investment from the top down to create that atmosphere where the teams can compete for the pitches. It's a handoff around the end. McKenniff gets around one, gets away from a second, but it's brought down again. Michael Ferris, the one bringing him down on the play. So that might be Max Dimitrov, number 1. So a long first down loss puts UCD on the back foot. I'm hearing a lot of excuses out of all of you. I'm hearing a lot of excuses. Mooney fakes the handoff, throws to Donovan. Donovan sure hands on the catch. And this one's fumbled. Was he out of bounds first? Out of bounds first is the ruling on the field. As Donovan, normally a sure-handed receiver, catching a lucky break with the ruling that he was out of bounds on the run. You know, one of the main problems I had promoting this team at our Super Bowl party held at Jerry Mahon's in City Center was our first game wasn't for a month after the Super Bowl. 2 receivers each side, pistol back formation. Dara Mooney's got it after the defender slipped on coverage. This will be a first down UCD. Offense on the march on the offensive half of the field. 2 receivers each side. Shotgun back is McKenniff. McKenniff getting the run. McKenniff going down the field and getting through the tackle of Tom Goodchild as he goes out of bounds short of the first down by about a yard. As the chain gang prematurely reset, and now they line up to check with the spots. As, yes, the chains must be reset. So it's 2nd and 1 coming up here instead of a first down. Mooney fakes the handoff. It's a swing pass again to Donovan, caught behind the line of scrimmage. Duffy out to block, and this one's another foul coming on the far side of the play. And it's going to be a hold against the offense. So that 2nd and short now sets up 2nd and long. We'll march back the 10 yards, so 2nd and 1 turns into 2nd and 11. Drive stalling momentarily for UCD, trailing by 22. Trojans jumped out to an early lead in the first quarter as Mooney takes the snap and sets. and sends it wide of Dara Mooney as it's incomplete to bring up third and long. It was 14-0 after the end of one, and the Trojans were gifted better field position on the point after try after their third touchdown, following a roughing the kicker penalty. So they ran a bootleg around for a 2-point conversion to give us the 22-0 score. This is the first drive for UCD in this half. 3 receivers left, 1 to the right. Aaron Mooney takes the snap, looking for his options, and he's going to roll out. It's intercepted again. Third interception of the day for the Trojans. Chris Hill, the one breaking up the pass. Punt, interception, punt that got blocked, downs, interception, downs, interception. Those are the 7 drives so far for UCD today. Hence the reason they are down 22-0. I'm laughing at King Curly's comment. I have a not suitable for TV story about Borat and people's impressions of him. So that's why I'm laughing. Lynn drops back to pass. Lynn evades the pressure going down the sideline, and it's incomplete. No catch, but flag on the coverage. Vershu breaking up the pass as Boswell, streaking down the sideline, may have been gone for another one. Watchhorn and Vershu were on that side of the field. Pass interference offense. Interesting call. So they'll march back the play. So it's going to be first and forever. Main differences between UCD on the field and the one that started the season. Depth. I don't think they lost that many of their starters, but they lost a lot of depth pieces that competed for good starting jobs, especially at wide receiver and at defensive line. There were a lot of players who have left the team for the season, and they were huge contributors for the 4 games that UCD played prior. Some of them might be coming back later in the season. However, they are not back today. 2-back set. Lynn hands it off, and Boswell's undercut in the backfield. Big loss on first and forever. Sets up a second and even longer. That was looked like number 11, Rory O'Dwyer on that tackle. Tight end to the left side of the formation with a shotgun back. Lynn, and it's a heavy blitz coming on. Lynn's got the rush up the middle, and Lynn bounces off of tacklers. The patient runner gets even better yards. Sets up a third and potentially makeable for the Trojans. It's still going to be a long ways to go to get the yards back. Elsewhere in the playoffs, for anyone who's curious as to who Belfast and UCD might line up against, the Cork Admirals are on a heater right now and sit in 4th following their victory over Dublin Rebels, who are now outside the playoff picture in 5th. And the Belfast Knights tomorrow have the South Dublin Panthers in South Dublin. Shotgun back formation with an offset tight end. Lynn opting to pass. Lynn escapes pressure. Lynn keeping himself beyond the line of scrimmage, throws it short of his intended target, incomplete to James Lynn. It's a long 4th down. Trojans will opt to play field position. Prediction for Knights-Panthers. I have a hard time believing in the Panthers offense, so my guess would be a Knights victory. However, you never know. I mean, the Panthers offense is just a very difficult watch. Wilson back to kick. Has a flag on the play before the snap. And it's a false start on the punt. So that gives a free 5 yards of field position to UCD's defense on their punt return coverage. Sean Douglas is typically the one back to receive punts, but because the camera is trained to keep as many people in the shot as possible with motion, we don't tend to see who receives the kick for UCD. Wilson receives the snap, gets it on heavy rush. Nobody touches the punter this time. That happened earlier in the game as this punt looks like it goes out of play. Second punt of the half for the Trojans. First time they've gone back-to-back punt with both punts getting off. Their last time going back-to-back punting, the second one was blocked, and UCD set up with their best field position so far of the day, ended up turning it over on downs inside the 10. UCD sets up for their second drive of the third quarter, down by 22 points. Mooney takes a low snap, sends it out wide. And he's got a receiver. He's got it complete. Looks like Wiley on the catch and run. Able to get good yards. Closing in on midfield is UCD. I believe this will be second down coming up. Three receivers left, one to the right, shotgun back. Fake the handoff, going out to Dara Mooney. He catches it, but actually he dropped it, ruled an incomplete pass as Mooney went to his knees to try to get it. Douglas going to sub his position from the Z all the way to the X on the receiver formation. Heavy formation to the right side. They now set up a blocking play here. McKenniff is going to get the run. He gets around and he's going to get through the defenders. He's got room down the sideline. Alex Kusmarek getting a big one. First big explosive play of the day for UCD from their do-it-all player, Alex Kusmarek. Kusmarek, their Northern Irish star. Plays another running play here. This one goes out of bounds, and this will be a short gain. Second and medium coming up here. And a foul on the play, so face mask on the Trojans. This will add on extra yards to the most recent play for UCD and put them inside the 10 for a first and goal. That, just on the outskirts of first and goal. It's at the 11. My math was 2 yards off, so it'll be first and 10 from the 11-yard line. Shane's got to get a move on before we can restart play. UCD back in the red zone for the first time in this half. Pitch again to McKenniff. McKenniff running down the side. He's got room. He's got a end zone. Touchdown, UCD. First score of the day is a Tom McKenniff touchdown run. UCD will line up to go for 2. This is their normal MO. They line up in tractor formation. Alex Kusmarek is the one with the back. They line up everyone to the right side for the power run. Kusmarek running through in the middle of the line, and he is short. UCD is 65% on 2-point conversions. Heading into today's game, that will hurt the average a little bit, as Kusmarek went 5 for 5 in match 4 against the University of Limerick Vikings. So UCD is on the board for the first time today, getting an early score in the third quarter. Trojans will receive their second kickoff of the day from Will Lambert. As Boswell and Dimitrov are the ones back to receive the kick. Dimitrov on the left side of the formation, Boswell on the right. We're grateful all of you have decided to join us as Lambert sends this one deep into the end zone for a touchback. Top of the table clash between these two teams. It's the only time they'll play each other this season. UCD will play Dublin Rebels in their only return fixture of the season next week. You can catch that game right here on UCD American Football on YouTube, followed by 2 games in June against the South Dublin Panthers at home to close the home side of the schedule. And it is a final clash north of the border against the Craigavon Cowboys. Lynn back in the backfield, tight formation to the left side to open this drive. Takes a snap. Handoff is to Boswell. Boswell gets free. Boswell got some room. Gets around Vershu. Getting through defenders. He gets around more. He's got plenty of room in those legs, and he's hauled down by the arm. Alex Brady, the last line of defense for UCD, able to make a touchdown-saving tackle. Setting up on the outskirts of the red zone, Trojans are on the march again, relying on Rayshon Boswell as the majority of their offense today. He's got 2 touchdowns and a lot of running yards. Load up the formation on the left side. They got 1 receiver to the right. Handoff is to Boswell. They'll run weak side formation. Flag coming in on the backfield. Boswell's going to get tackled out of bounds by Watchorn and Larry Doyle, as it looks like it'll be a penalty on the blocking by the Trojans. That tends to be what the case is when the flag is in the backfield for the offense. As Owen Feely, number 0, was upset about something on the play. Indeed, it is a hold on Belfast. First and a lot longer. Change the strength of the formation, as after the penalty, it returns to the hash on the field where the play came from, not where the play ended. 2 receivers to the right, 1 far out to the left, 2 in the backfield. Lynn dropping back to pass, going deep down the left sideline, and it's broken up, incomplete. That was Brady on the breakup. 2nd and long coming up here for the Trojans. As there is a discussion and another flag in the backfield. Curious decision here. If this is on the Trojans, does UCD take the incompletion, or do they push them back even further? It's yet another conference. You've seen a lot of those in this contest. They will discuss excessive footballing. Yes, indeed. I'd love to have a live mic on these referees, as the discussion now with Dominic Lynn over what the call is. And whatever it was, they pick it up. So I guess not enough footballing was played there to warrant the penalty. Anyway, it's 2nd and 20 following the first down penalty that backed up the Trojans in the first place. Boswell set up on the right with a tight formation left. They got one receiver, Ferris, to the right side. And Lynn dropping back to pass. Lynn is in deep trouble, and he'll throw it down. That should be intentional grounding or a fumble. UCD is going to pick it up and run with it. UCD is going to pick this up. It's a live ball, and it's a run for the touchdown. If this stands, oh my God. No whistle, no flag, no signal stopping play. UCD scoop and score. Looks to be the call on the field. They rule it a fumble. As a Belfast Trojans player is down on the field. The officials are discussing this. From my vantage point, it looked like a intentional grounding forward pass. However, the ball didn't go that far forward if it went forward at all. And indeed, UCD looks like they're lining up to go for 2. UCD may have just been given a gift here. Can they capitalize with the 2-point conversion? Kusmarik in the backfield, setting up in tractor formation, strong side to the right. Kusmarik is running toward the outside. He's got some blockers, and does he get there? No, incomplete. So that's 6 points for UCD. They will kick off again, but they are now down 10 points. Almost got the 2-point to make it a 1-possession game. A scoop and score for UCD. An incredible change in fortune here for UCD, turning a Belfast possession into a touchdown. Just play to the whistle. as Belfast's offense, after getting some shell shock in that last possession, goes right back out there. Yeah, that's the only way I could think that they would call that. It looked like a forward pass watching it live, so I'm surprised that the officials ruled it a fumble. Especially, there's no video review in this league. Where are you going to put the cameras? But man, I really, really crazy to see and hear the reaction after that. That Lambert's kick is away. Boswell's got it straight to his chest. Running toward the right side of the formation, Boswell is going to get met at the 30-yard line. 35, 36, 37 on the gain. As the Trojans, they'll set up with decent field position to restart their drive following the fumble and score for UCD. You know, it's funny you say that, Yev Kasim. I worked as a replay official in my time in the NCAA very briefly. And most of the time, officials did get stuff right. It's just the fans don't perceive it that way. But by the letter of the rule, most of the time, the referees do get stuff right. Is it often enough for fans to not criticize them? No, it never is enough. Two receivers left with the tight end, as Lynn has a receiver on his right as well. Boswell stays into pass protect, looking down the sideline and it's broken up incomplete. Watchorn was there in coverage as Ferris and him were hand fighting. No call. Yes, perhaps not an AFI. Second and 10 coming up here. UCD after a fumble, run back for a touchdown. All right. Thanks for going back in the film and checking. I have to stay live with the feed, so thank you for being the replay booth on that one and seeing that he fumbled it before he could bring his arm forward. Again, looking live, it looked like a forward pass. T formation setup. Boswell on the run, met in the backfield, spins away from pressure, and it's a flag on the tackling. Not sure who this is going to be on, as it's a medium gain if it stands for the Trojans to set up third down. Referee's talking with Larry Doyle of UCD, indicating it's likely on the Trojans. Holding on the offense. And they'll take the yards and push them back for a 2nd and 20. It's 10 yards from the spot of the foul, so it's actually going to look more like a 16 or 17. As Lynn and the Belfast offense, penalties have been the only real killer for the offense today for the Trojans. Otherwise, it has been smooth sailing. From the right hash, receiver spread far out left with the slot. Tight end set to the right. Handoff is to Boswell. Boswell gets around one, gets around two, and he's wrapped up finally. O'Dwyer, among others, in on the stop. It was 39, Liam Polson. First one to him. UCD trailing by 10, about midway through this third quarter. This is the 4th time Belfast has had the ball. T formation with 2 receivers left. Lynn takes it. Both backs stay into pass protect. Lynn steps up, throws over the middle, lofted ball, 3 receivers, 3 back, and nobody got a hand on it. Wanted Ferris over the top, had 3 guys covering him, and it's punt formation time for the Trojans. Punt is away. As this is going to bounce, it takes a Belfast hop inside the 10-yard line. The 3rd punt of the quarter for the Belfast Trojans. As it looks like UCD's offense will open up the 4th quarter with the ball and a chance to drive down and cut this lead to 2. No team has used their timeouts yet. Final quarter of action. UCD came into this half trailing by 22 points, following a run by Tom McKenniff and a scoop and score touchdown on defense. UCD is back in business. We want to thank each and every one of you. We've got 130 plus people in the chat right now. Thank you so much for having us be part of your Saturday afternoon, your Saturday morning, your Saturday evening. We're happy you're here. Toss play to Jack Finnegan. Finnegan met at the line of scrimmage. He spins forward and gets a few yards on the play. 2nd down setting up here for UCD's offense, as this is the first time all season that Aaron Mooney has taken a snap in the 4th quarter. 3 receivers to the left-hand side. Handoff is to Finnegan. Flag coming in on the blocking. Finnegan goes down on the play. It was a 2nd down and medium. Let's see what the call is. Rain looks like it's starting to let up, and they'll wave it off. All right, so regardless of what the penalty was, UCD sets up now for a 3rd and short. Absolutely, King Curly. I love doing this. Like, if you could pay me to broadcast games for my entire life and just take care of the rest of it, I would do this. Absolutely no hesitation. Motion from the running back on the play. First look is to him. Second look is back to him. And Finnegan cannot get to the 1st down marker. Sets up a interesting choice here for UCD. It's 4th down, deep in their own territory. They're trailing by 10. As Mooney coming off the field. So looks like it's going to be punt formation for UCD. As yes, that's number 8, Carl Bracken coming on. The linebacker tends to indicate when he's out there with the team with the ball that UCD will be kicking it away. So first drive of the 4th quarter for UCD, as Donovan got it away with his left foot, and it takes a friendly roll getting toward midfield at the 45. So not a great punt, but it ends up having a friendly roll as UCD will restart on defense. Pardon me, everybody. Had to blow my nose. Getting over a bit of a cold. I don't know exactly where I picked it up. I recently came back from the US, but I've been sick pretty much since I got here. Midfield start for the Trojans, their first time with the ball this quarter, their fifth time with the ball in the half. Yet to score in this half of action, leading by 10. One score here could put the game away. Tight formation, bunch to the left side. Lynn with a shotgun back, it's Boswell. Boswell stays into pass protect. Flag on the play immediately after the snap. Throw over the top, and it's intercepted! Alex Brady's got it. And this one's returned back to about the UCD 5. So curious what the call is here. If this is against the Trojans, it's likely going to be offense time for UCD following a one play and out. Since the offense is coming back out onto the field, I have no choice but to assume that Brady's interception gives UCD new life here. Down by 10, gotta score twice. And considering UCD does not have a field goal unit, they have to get 2 touchdowns at a minimum to take the lead in this game. And that includes getting one more defensive stop. From the UCD 10, gotta march all the way down the field. Mooney, empty backfield. Brings Donovan to his right. No formation change as Donovan now lines up in the H-back formation. Some confusion from the runners here. Mooney's got the ball. Mooney's going to try to throw, trying to find an open receiver. He'll just throw it away over Donovan's head, incomplete. I do not have updates on the Giants-Mavs score. However, someone in the chat was giving updates earlier, so anybody care to provide Ben with some updates? Again, it'd be so nice to have centralized scoring that was uniform across the league on a simple platform, but that technology has not come here yet. 2 in the backfield with Mooney, 2nd and 10 from the 10-yard line. It's going to be a run. McKenneth's got it. McKenneth's going to get a few yards on this play, set up 3rd down. Trailing by 10 at the outset of the 4th. Both teams have had the ball once so far. UCD punted. Trojans' first play, they threw an interception over the top. Mooney sets up with split receivers, two each side. One in the backfield, goes out for another run. Going for Sean Douglas. First time I've called his name in a positive light today. He stretches across for a 1st down. UCD playing hurry up. This is their normal offense. They like to go quickly. Belfast substituting. They get everybody off before the snap. Mooney's got it. Pitch play going around to the right side. McKenneth gets a few yards, gets pushed out of bounds, following a gain of about 4 as Tygo Connor takes a spill following the blocking from Brandon Falconer. Falconer does have an interception today, 1 of 3 for this Trojans defense. UCD looking into the sideline to get the play. And holding up his hand looking for a new signal was Patty Sweeney, the right guard. Carl Malone lined up as the starting left guard. Hand off again. This one's going to go for not a lot of yards. 3rd down coming up here for UCD. Carl Malone, the starter at left guard. This is his first time playing left guard this season. He's normally been playing right guard. Down by 10, and a gotta have it 3rd down. Too far in your own territory to try anything too funny. Mooney sets. Mooney delivers. Going for Donovan. Sure-handed catch, unable to make it in. Tried one-handed to bring it back. Could not do so. Incomplete pass brings out the punting unit. Falconer again on the coverage. UCD running out of time. They need 2 scores as Dara Mooney lines up for the long snap. Donovan gets it away. This one's a low spiraling kick toward the right side. Looks like it has been fielded, and UCD brings him down. It's a fight for the ball, and UCD's claiming they've got it. Of course, the camera goes away right as their officials might be making a determination. UCD fighting for the ball at the end of that run. And given the fact that the offensive players are coming off, it looks as though that Belfast retains possession. Yeah, the VO wandering off. This happens from time to time as on cue, the VO wanders off again. There was a inter-varsity scrimmage game between UCD and the University of Limerick where 2 players were playing catch on the sidelines, and it took the attention away from the camera. I did not have a great time talking about that. But anyway, setting up from the 36-yard line are the Trojans. Shotgun back with 2 receivers to the right. Short run. Short run by McElwee as he briefly spells Boswell following that punt. Second and medium coming up again. UCD trailing by 10. Every possession feels like a must stop for the home team. 3 receivers right, 1 to the left. Lynn looks left first, looks back left, throws it again. Over the middle, got a man open. James Lynn makes the catch. It's a first down coming here again. Dominic Lynn is running toward the sideline to get the play call. Setting up from the 35-yard line of UCD. A field goal doesn't do much for the Trojans, but it would force UCD to definitely go for 2 touchdowns. They would have to anyway, considering they don't have a field goal kicking unit and they don't practice one. UCD lines up their formation to counter this tight bunch to the left side, and it looks like a free play here for the Trojans. Going down right side, got a man open, and it's broken up, incomplete. No flag on the coverage. I don't see a flag on the offside potential. And Dominic Lynn is down on the play. I don't see a yellow flag. As Lynn is pleading his case. So for all of that, it looks like it's just an incomplete pass, setting up 2nd and 10, and timeout by the Trojans to avoid the delay of game penalty potential. That's their first of the half. As we are closing in on the last drives of this game. This is the Trojans' second time with the ball in this quarter. UCD has punted twice in this quarter, unable to get a first down. Trojans leading by 10. The longer they hold on to this ball, the more they keep it away from UCD. Coach Big, I wish I knew. If I knew, I would tell you. I don't know how much time is left. The 2-minute warning has not happened yet, so we're on the north side of that. But other than that, I don't know how much time is left. I think that's a good estimate, roughly 7 to 8 minutes, because both teams have had the ball multiple times in short drives. Linebacker blitz is shown. It's going to come up the middle. McElwey's got the ball, and Doyle meets him at the line. This sets up third down. At this point, I wonder how risky the Trojans get if they don't get the third down here. Do they go for it on fourth down and try to put the game away, knowing that they're going to give UCD better field position? Do you try a long field goal, or do you punt and play the field position game on a short field? A lot of questions to be answered, but the Trojans can answer all of them and render them moot with a third down conversion here. 2 receivers each side with a tight end on the left. Shotgun back is McElwey. Lynn's got it. Lynn rolling out to his right. He's got room to run. He's got room to go toward the sideline. Undercuts. And is this enough for a first down? Whatever it is, the offense is going to stay on the field. Under 7 minutes now to go. Thank you to those in the chat who, for whatever reason, know how much time is left. Bunch formation on the left side with 2 wide out. 1 more wide to the right. And it's a delay of game penalty. The Belfast Trojans take a delay of game penalty on 4th and short. And it looks like they're going to keep the offense out there. The drama is real here in the Premier Division. A clash at the top of the table. It's a 2-possession game late in the 4th quarter. UCD needing a stop on 4th down to get the ball back. Where else would you rather be? McElwey is the running back. Lynn sets up, gives orders to his receivers. 2 on the left, 1 on the right. McElwey staying in the block. Going for a long pass here, and it's up. It's caught! On 4th down, they go for it and get it all! Trojans touchdown! Noah Benheim looked like the one who brought down the ball amid double coverage. And the Trojans extend their lead to what could be an insurmountable margin. This is a big extra point attempt. As if Wilson makes this, it is a 3-possession game. Snap, hold, kick, up and good as a flag comes in for contact in the backfield. And oh, nope, false start. So they're going to retry that. All right, so the kick just got a slightly bit harder. Yeah, what a crazy touchdown catch. Had coverage draped on him, but better hands from Noah. Still a critical extra point here. If he makes it, it's a 3-possession game. Snap, hold, placement, and it's up and good. A 3-possession lead for the Trojans. UCD will line up to get the ball. And wow. UCD shocked on their own field. A 3-interception day for Aaron Mooney. as only one of the interceptions was directly converted into points. But it's a 3-possession game now, with Belfast up by 17. UCD does have explosive players. They could still make this a game, but it would require a lot more than what the offense has shown so far today. Wilson lines up and kicks it away, and this one is going to roll toward the sideline. UCD opts to field it, not letting it go out of bounds, getting it to about the 24. As definitely a lot of what could have beens for UCD today. But they're going to have to pick it up and get right back on the horse because they play the Dublin Rebels next Saturday. You can watch that game right here on this channel, UCD American Football. And if it's cold comfort for many of the UCD veterans, this is the same team that last season lost one game to the Dublin Rebels. Granted, that game was cut short with UCD making a charge on the late comeback. Drive will start at the 25, third drive of the quarter now for UCD. As they have put Joe Carroll in at quarterback, and his first play is a false start. So Mooney's day is done. Mooney did have a brief conversation with the coaches when he came off on his last drive. Not sure if that means anything. But it's Joe Carroll, the Dublin native, who just wrapped up his first year at UCD. Played admirably in a shutout loss for the Irish Junior Wolfhounds as well, as Carroll now running free down the sideline after the false start penalty knocked UCD back. Not able to get very far. He's run out of bounds again. Of course, Mr. McCann, or Miss, I'm not sure, I'm not sure what to call that name, but of course, happy to do this. 2 receivers to the, and 3 receivers to the right. Carroll rolls that direction. Carroll rolling, throwing, and it's incomplete. Oh. King, it's not like I knew that. Third down coming up here. As UCD down by 3 possessions, late in the fourth quarter, has put Joe Carroll into the game. Got to get 15 yards for a first down. Carroll sets, receives, and he bobbles the snap momentarily. He's going to run toward this line of scrimmage, stay back behind, and now he's going to try to run for that first down. He doesn't get all of it. Gets a reasonable amount. UCD might consider going for this. Carroll also has punting ability, so they might line up for a quick pooch kick. It looked like they're lining up for a play call. 2 receivers each side with a shotgun back. Carroll sets for the fourth down play. 3-man rush, fourth coming in from the linebacker spot. Carroll slips on the wet surface. It's intercepted again, and it looks like they're going to rule him down on a sack rather than an interception. So it's a turnover on downs, not an interception. More nomenclature at this point as the Trojans come back out onto the field with the result in hand. So it takes away a statistical interception for Jamie Baird, number 41, who picked off Carroll on that play. But the Trojans, a 3-possession lead with the ball in the offensive half, will stay perfect at 6-0. And given that their next 2 games are against relegation-bound opponents, University of Limerick and South Dublin. It's looking like it might be yet another perfect season for the Trojans, barring, of course, a Vikings or Panthers miraculous victory. Starters staying out there for the Trojans. Here's Lynn to take the snap again. UCD heavy rush on, staying up at the field, looking for the front pylon, and broken up incomplete. As the receiver who the ball was intended for, slow to get up, gingerly jogging back toward the huddle, as Vershu had the coverage. And they will opt to sub off James Lynn, who took an awkward fall on the play. Dipping close to 2 minutes to go. Second down and 10 coming up for the Trojans. A lot of questions to answer for Dara Farrell and the coaching staff for UCD. Kevin Sungo, the one in the backfield. And bit of confusion here on this play as that pass was going to nobody in particular. Lynn just threw the ball away after looked like a bit of confusion at the line as to who was supposed to go where. Yeah, I would have thrown a flag for intentional grounding there, but granted, I'm a bit more trigger happy on a call like that than many white hat officials are, and often it's the referee who has to make that call. So they take Sungo out and replace him with McElwee. Lynn again stands and waits. One receiver spread way out to the right. Handoff is to McElwee on this third down play. Gets about halfway there before getting met by a tackle, as we're certainly about to dip to the 2-minute warning now. The Trojans have marched into Belfield and taken a 17-point lead over UCD. As the Trojans take their second timeout. The one squatting down was number 70, Dave Shaw, one of the captains for the Trojan squad. So Trojans down to one timeout left. UCD has all three, but trailing by 3 possessions, they put Joe Carroll in on their last drive. So got a feeling that UCD is playing not to get hurt and playing for next week's game. UCD can still clinch a playoff berth next week against the Dublin Rebels. Shotgun and pistol back formation. Lynn drops back with both backs staying into pass protect. Passes over the top and it's to the front pylon, incomplete. Coverage on the play from number 34, Leo Downs. 2-minute warning as it's a turnover on downs to end the drive for the Trojans after that failed 4th down conversion. Three possession lead. Trojans up by 17 points. Carroll will stay in at quarterback. That distinctive 1 foot in front of the other stance that he often gives. Pass to the left side is low, incomplete. Looking for Robbie Sheff. Could not get it to him in time. As now under 2 minutes to go, incompletions will stop the clock. So there is still a chance UCD will have to give the ball back to the Trojans. Carroll and his team are going to go out fighting. 4-man rush for the Trojans. Carroll breaks it through up the middle, and he's got some room to run. He's going to use all of it. And breaks around to tackle, does not slide, gets across the 35, taking a first down. Alex Saeed McGuire going to come in to one of the guard positions. Carroll brings 3 receivers to his right. Toss play. Running outside, and not a whole lot of room for McKenniff as he gets about 6 yards. What was potentially a momentum-changing scoop and score for UCD was followed up by punt, and a turnover on downs. Tough to win in any football league when you're down by 2 scores and you can't move the ball on offense. I believe UCD took one of their 3 timeouts, playing 2-minute hurry-up offense here. See what Joe Carroll can do with command of the controls. He sets up, going long, looking for Douglas, and it's broken up incomplete by his number counterpart. Jose Orozco broke up that pass. Rookie safety, who will also play backup quarterback. 3rd down and medium coming up for UCD. Carroll sets, Carroll delivers, and he's got some room to run. He's going to throw, overshoots Douglas, incomplete. 4th down coming. Potentially had room to run, opted to throw. 4th and 4. As UCD, this could be their final stand. Douglas goes back toward the bench, gets the play call, sets up back again at his normal position. Carroll now. He's going to take off and run this time. He's met at the line of scrimmage and stopped. That is the game-breaking tackle. Chris Hill gives off the game-sealing tackle. Had an interception earlier in today's game, 1 of 3 against UCD today, as a player is injured for the Trojans. Somebody ending in a 7. Looks like it's 77, Michael Bradford. So Belfast will get the ball back inside of 2 minutes to go with the result in hand. Again, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in for today's contest. Yes, you might indeed see me down the road if these teams meet again in the playoffs. This was a fun time, and potentially you guys could come back. I'm not going to stop you from watching UCD's later games. It might be awkward for you, but at least you can hang around with other people who like watching AFI. Trojans did most of their damage in the first quarter, scoring twice, and got the game-winning touchdown from another run by their star running back, Rayshon Boswell, who finishes the day with 2 TDs. Mohamed Ramadan got a touchdown run as well, and a receiving TD from Noach Ben-Haim. As it looks to be victory formation set up for the Belfast Trojans. They'll take however many knees as necessary, as the referee is right there to judge the immediate kneel down. I've never actually seen a quarterback take the snap from a knee. But there's your ball game. The Belfast Trojans stay perfect on the season and move to 6-0, dropping UCD to 4-1. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us for today's contest. My name is Max Wolpoff, and on behalf of UCD American Football, we are grateful you have made us part of your Saturday entertainment. Your final score from UCD Belfield, Trojans 29, UCD 12.